Amazing Eric Sports and laughs. It's all love. Ow!
In life, there are certain principles that have always been here. They've stood the test of time. That lets you know they're legit. And one of those principles is there's real and there's fake. There's lies and there's truth. And this principle applies to every level, every facet of your life. Think about it. Your job. You have fake people at your job. You have real people at your job. Your friendships. You have fake friends and you have real friends. Your romantic relationships. You've had some fake ones and you've had some real ones. And if you don't think you had any fake ones, that's probably because you were the fake person in the relationship. And the same thing holds true for the sport of boxing. You have some real ones, some real fighters out there. And you got some fake ones, some posers out there in the sport of boxing, especially when it comes to the art of the call out. And that's what we have to talk about today, the call out. Because in boxing, things trend. Do you remember just a little while ago, nobody would say the name Errol Spence? We were all here making uploads, making videos, asking people, say the name, just say it. And now I'm starting to notice a new trend. People are saying the name Errol Spence. They're actually saying they want to fight him. And kudos to them. I'm appreciative of that. But have you ever wondered to yourself, do they really mean this? Do they really want to fight Errol Spence? Well, no worries. Your boy E has you taken care of. What's real and what's fake? So y'all know we gotta talk about it. Today's video. Are the Errol Spence callouts real or fake? Y'all know what it is. Amazing Eric Sports. Let's go, man. What is up, my fellow boxing heads? What's good, y'all? It's your boy E, aka Big E, aka Amazing Eric, and you are now tuned in to another episode of the Amazing Eric Sports Show. Now, today's video is primarily going to be based around two fighters that are currently calling out Errol Spence, or at least calling the name Errol Spence. Those two fighters are Danny Garcia and Terence "Bud" Crawford. And what you have in Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford are two fighters with two different types of callouts of Errol Spence. One of those callouts I feel could be real. The other one feels like it could be, possibly be, fake. Again, staying with the theme, real versus fake. Now, what we're gonna do for you today is break down two different type of callouts that are frequently used in the sport of boxing. We're gonna break them down and we're gonna discuss them. But first, let me share with you the names that I've given these two callouts. I've called the first type of callout we're gonna talk about the Build My Buzz callout. That's right, the Build My Buzz callout. The second callout, I've named that one the Build My Rep callout. The Build My Rep callout. Now let's jump right into the first callout, the Build My Buzz callout. We are going to say that we feel this callout could possibly be being used right now by one Danny Garcia. Let me say this to Danny Garcia and all his fans. I am just a man with an opinion. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. But what I'm also gonna do is show you exactly what Danny Garcia can do to prove me and anybody else who feels this way wrong. Let's start out first by telling you exactly what the Build My Buzz call out is. The Build My Buzz call out is actually nothing new. It's been around the sport of boxing for years. The Build My Buzz call out is a call out that happens when a fighter usually has an event coming up, meaning they have a fight coming up, but there's not enough buzz tied to their fight. It's not being talked about. It's not being really wrote about on the websites. There are not enough YouTube uploaders making videos about the fight, so the fighter calls out one of two types of fighters. This is important to note. The Build My Buzz call out is always used on one of two types of fighters. That fighter is either a megastar or a feared fighter. He's either a super megastar or he's a highly feared fighter. So what the fighter does is they go and call out this fighter. While they have a fight set coming up, they call out the fighter because that generates the buzz around them. People start to talk. People start to talk about them. People start to talk about their call out. And oh yeah, this person just happens to be fighting 7 to 10 days from here. So let me check and see if they're worthy of the person they're calling out. But here's the funny thing about the Build My Buzz call out. The Build My Buzz call out is actually like cotton candy. You know when you grab some cotton candy, it has substance, it's fluffy, it's sweet, it's pink or orange or purple. It just catches your eye, and when you bite it, it just disappears in your mouth. Actually, there was no substance to it at all. It was a bunch of fluff. The Build My Buzz call out is just like that. And here's the way to tell that the Build My Buzz call out is what has just been used by the fighter. Watch the fighter after his fight. Please watch him after his fight. He's saying this fighter's name before his fight. Oh, he wants to fight him. As soon as his fight is over and the man is standing in the ring, whether it be Jim Gray, whether it be Max Kellerman, whoever it is standing in the ring interviewing him, and they say, "Who do you want to fight next?" All of a sudden, they won't say that person's name anymore. Then they start saying stuff like this: "Well, I'm just a fighter. I'm not a promoter. I'll fight whoever my promoter wants me to fight." Or, "Ask my promoter. Don't ask me. We'll just have to see what's next." You know at that moment, you have been a victim of the Build My Buzz call out. Now, let me give you a few examples of when you have seen the Build My Buzz call out, because sometimes you've seen it and it's been so slick you didn't even know you were witnessing it. Here's an example. The first one is Manny Pacquiao. Now, Manny Pacquiao fans, please don't get mad. Please don't attack. Just listen. Manny Pacquiao, when he had fought Floyd Mayweather and he had lost to Floyd Mayweather, he had a couple of fights afterwards, right? The one that jumps out in my head is the Jesse Vargas fight. Manny Pacquiao versus Jesse Vargas. That fight was going to be on pay-per-view. It was not going to be on HBO. People were like, "What's going on with this?" It really wasn't a lot of buzz around it. Manny Pacquiao starts to go on to First Take or wherever else they'll listen to him, and he starts saying, "I want to fight Floyd Mayweather again." I can even picture Manny Pacquiao wearing a jacket. Pull him up in the jacket. We remember the jacket. Look at this jacket. It's him on one side throwing a punch at Floyd Mayweather. He's saying, "I promise you guys, I will make the rematch different. I promise you." This starts making all of us go, "Whoa, let's watch Manny versus Jesse Vargas," because we want to see, is Manny really different? He had the shoulder surgery. He said he fought Mayweather bad because of his shoulder. So let's watch Jesse Vargas to see if the old Manny Pacquiao was back. Floyd Money Mayweather actually comes out of character because at this time he's still looking for another fight. This is before he signed the Conor McGregor fight. He's looking for another big paycheck. He does something he doesn't normally do. He comes to Manny Pacquiao's fight. He's sitting right there behind Stephen A. Smith and Timothy Bradley. He's right there. Stephen A. Smith goes to interview Manny Pacquiao after the fight. Now, you've been saying how much you want to fight Floyd before the fight. Floyd is right there in the first row. He's right there beside you. Manny Pacquiao doesn't even look toward Floyd Mayweather's way. He's looking away from Floyd Mayweather. Stephen A. Smith says, "What about this man who is at ringside, Floyd Money Mayweather?" Manny Pacquiao then starts to talk about his promoter. "Bob Arum, I'm just going to wait." He goes into that routine. 2 days ago, you wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather. You were building your buzz. Now, that's not me attacking Manny Pacquiao. That's just me keeping it real. Hey, it was a smart business move by Pacquiao. He had Floyd at his fight. A few more people talked about it. I'm sure it got him some more views. His talk about the rematch definitely made me and a lot of other people more interested in his fight with Jesse Vargas. So as I look at Danny Garcia, I am starting to think this is the Build My Buzz call out we're getting from Danny, because Danny now has the Brandon Rios fight coming up, and Danny is hearing basically nothing. Nobody's really talking about this fight. I personally am going to watch the fight. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm hoping Bam Bam can show up and give us an interesting fight. I want to see a good scrap. I like Danny Garcia. I've been a fan of Danny Garcia. I haven't respected what's been going on lately, but I do like Danny Garcia. I will say though, this feels like the Build My Buzz call out. And if you are a fan of Danny Garcia, Danny, if you are listening to this yourself, bro, you have a chance to prove me and everybody else wrong. This is how we will know if Danny Garcia is serious about his fight with Errol Spence Jr. When Danny Garcia beats Brandon Rios, if and when Danny Garcia beats Brandon Rios, when they ask him point blank what's next, he needs to say, I want to fight Errol Spence Jr. Because guess what? Errol doesn't have a fight right now. So Danny can say, I want Errol. That's when we will know if this is the Build My Buzz call out or if it's something more real. And speaking of something more real, that is the perfect segue into our next fighter and our next call out. Let's talk about Terence Bud Crawford and his call out. We feel that the Terence Crawford call out of Errol Spence is the Build My Rep call out. Now, the Build My Rep call out has been around boxing a long time too. The Build My Rep call out is when you look at the guy that everybody else does not want to mess with. You look at that guy and you say, hey, I'll take him, because when I take him, that will show everybody I'm the real deal. When a fighter makes the Build My Rep call out, they are ready to prove that they are better than the other guy that they're calling out. I personally feel like, and again, I could be wrong, this is just my humble opinion, but Terence Bud Crawford and the man he has shown himself to be, the way he is built, he is doing this to build his rep, meaning Terence Crawford actually wants to get in and get it on with Errol Spence Jr. Now here's the thing about the Build My Rep call out. Just because you're brave and just because you do it, it does not always turn out for the good. Sometimes it is an awful career decision. Let me give you a few examples of how the Build My Rep call out has gone bad for a few different fighters. Let's start with this guy, Sugar Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley had huge fights on the horizon. He was working toward a mega payday with Felix Tito Trinidad, but there were a different few fighters that were scary at that time, that people were telling Shane, nobody will mess with this guy, and Shane Mosley actually fell victim to a bad Build My Rep call out. Winky Wright, the brand new Hall of Famer Winky Wright. Congratulations to you, bro, on your Hall of Fame, Winky. I love Winky Wright. Shane Mosley should have been getting ready to fight Felix Tito Trinidad in a huge pay-per-view fight. The late, great Emmanuel Stewart, RIP to Emmanuel Stewart too, goes to Shane and his dad and actually angers them because he says, y'all don't want it with Winky Wright. Leave that alone. You're going to lose that fight. They don't listen. They want to build that rep. They get in there and what? Lose to Winky Wright. Go back again, lose to Winky Wright twice, and they lose out on the big money Tito Trinidad fight. A more recent example of the Build My Rep call out going bad is your man Julian J. Rock Williams. He just had to get it on with Charlo. He was wanting Austin Trout. He couldn't get that. Then he wanted Charlo. J. Rock wanted to prove to us that he was the best at 154. Well, guess what? J. Rock got his chance to get in and build his rep, and he caught a counter uppercut that seemed to have set his whole career off track. I don't know if J. Rock will ever be the same fighter he was before the Charlo fight. Build My Rep does not always work for your good. Now, in Terence Crawford, we see Crawford. We see his trainer, Bomac. They're doing a lot of talking right now about Errol Spence. The difference here is I believe they really genuinely feel they can defeat Errol Spence. Now, that remains to be seen if that's true or not. Terence Bud Crawford is a bad man, but let me tell you something. Errol the Truth Spence Jr. is a bad man too. So I actually would like to see these two get it on. If I had my choice, since they're both really warriors, they're not trying to avoid anybody, I'd like to see them go get all the belts from the other side, come together in a year or two, and unite, and let's unify the titles. So those are the two types of call outs we have. The Build My Buzz call out, which we feel is a fake call out. Remember, the Build My Buzz call out is always proved right after the fighter finishes his fight, and the build my rep call out, the one that says I want to show you that I'm the man. We feel that these two call outs can be applied to either Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford. Time will tell us if these things are true or not. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to subscribe on your way out the door. Again, your new favorite combat sports show, Amazing Eric Sports. I'm out, y'all. Peace.